There was a man who lived in a quiet apartment in a quiet neighborhood on a quiet street. At least, that is how it looked from the outside. But inside his mind, nothing was quiet. Not in the morning, not at night, not even during silence. Because silence was where the thoughts became louder. It always started with small things, simple things, normal things. Did I lock the door? He stopped walking. His hand tightened slightly. He clearly remembered locking it. He remembered the sound, the movement, the click. And yet, something inside him whispered, "What if you didn't?" He closed his eyes for a moment. His chest became heavier, not because he believed the thought, but because the possibility existed. And for him, possibility was enough. So he turned around. He walked back to the door, slowly. He touched the lock again. Locked. Of course it was locked. He knew that already. But the feeling did not disappear. So he checked again. Once, twice, 3 times. Not because he wanted to, but because walking away felt impossible. And that is how it begins. Not with madness, not with panic, but with doubt. Small doubt. Quiet doubt. The kind of doubt that slowly grows roots inside the mind. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly, the doubt spread into everything. The stove, the lights, the windows, the car, the messages he sent, the words he spoke. Even memories started feeling uncertain. And the strange part was, he understood what was happening. Part of him knew the thoughts were irrational, but another part whispered, "What if this time it's real?" And that question became a prison. Chapter 2. When the Brain Lies. One night, he sat alone in the dark. The room was silent, except for the ticking of a clock somewhere behind him. Tick, tick, tick. And suddenly, a thought entered his mind. Did I leave the stove on? Immediately, an image appeared in his head, a vivid image. The stove glowing red, flames rising slowly, smoke filling the apartment. It felt real, so real that his body reacted before logic could speak. His heart raced, his breathing changed, and even though he remembered turning it off, the image remained. This is the terrifying thing about the human mind. Sometimes the brain does not distinguish between imagination and danger. A thought repeated enough times can begin to feel like memory, and memory itself is far less reliable than most people think. The brain does not store memories like a camera. It rebuilds them again and again. And every reconstruction changes something small, a detail, a feeling, a certainty. And for someone trapped in obsessive doubt, that uncertainty becomes unbearable. Because if memory can change, then how can anything feel safe? So he began checking everything more carefully. Not because he was careless, but because he no longer trusted his own mind. And slowly, the fear was no longer about the stove, or the door, or the lights. The fear became something deeper. What if my own thoughts cannot be trusted? That question followed him everywhere. At work, in conversations, even in moments that should have felt peaceful. And over time, his world became smaller, not physically, mentally. Because every decision carried invisible weight, every action demanded certainty. And certainty never arrived. Chapter 3. The War Inside the Mind. The strange thing about fear is that fighting it directly often often makes it stronger. And he learned that, slowly. Every time he tried to force the thoughts away, they returned louder. Not louder in sound, louder in emotion. Like knocking on a locked door inside his mind. Again and again and again. So, he developed rituals, small routines designed to calm the anxiety. Checking, repeating, confirming, avoiding. For a few seconds, the relief felt real, but then the cycle returned. Always. Think, doubt, check, relief, repeat. A loop. Quiet at first, then automatic. Then exhausting. And the worst part was, people around him did not understand. You worry too much. Just stop thinking about it. Relax. But intrusive thoughts are not normal worries. They feel urgent, personal, dangerous. And when the mind believes something might be dangerous, it demands action, even when no danger exists. One day, he noticed something important. Every time he obeyed the fear grew stronger. And every time he searched for perfect certainty, his mind demanded even more. It was endless, like trying to fill a hole with water while it continued expanding. And for the first time, he stopped asking, "How do I eliminate these thoughts?" Instead, he asked a different question. What happens if I stop responding to them? That question changed something. Not immediately, not dramatically, but slowly. Because healing did not begin when the thoughts disappeared. Healing began when he stopped treating every thought like truth. Chapter 4. Learning to live with uncertainty. He started allowing uncertainty to exist. Small amounts at first, tiny moments. Walking away without checking again. Leaving questions unanswered. Sitting with discomfort instead of escaping it. And little by little, the fear lost some of its power. Not all of it, but enough. Enough to breathe again. Enough to think clearly. Enough to feel alive outside the prison of his own mind. Most people believe peace comes from certainty, but certainty is fragile, impossible even, because life itself is uncertain. Every decision carries risk, every relationship carries vulnerability, every tomorrow carries the unknown. And perhaps the real suffering was never uncertainty itself. Perhaps the suffering came from the desperate need to escape it. The mind wants guarantees, absolute answers, permanent safety. But reality does not work that way. And maybe freedom begins when we stop demanding perfection from the future. He still had thoughts. The doubts still appeared sometimes. The voice inside his mind never disappeared completely. But now, he saw it differently. It was no longer a command, only a voice, only a thought. And thoughts are not always reality. Sometimes, the mind creates storms to protect us from rain that never comes. And maybe the goal of life is not to silence the mind completely. Maybe the goal is to stop following every fear it creates, to observe, to breathe, to continue walking forward even while uncertainty exists beside us. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. And perhaps that is what freedom truly is. Not silence, not perfect certainty, but distance. Distance between you and every thought that asks to control your life. And in that distance, for the first time in a very long time, he finally felt calm.